Hopefully you can hear me. I'm having to run a fan and have my swamp cooler, and my dog is wagging. Um, but I wanted to look up what it says about business, because I remember that there was a thing about how weights and measures were used, and how God said to not use the wrong weights and measures. So I wanted to find those verses, and I did. So if you run a business, you need to run it without hurting other people. If you run a business and you're taking more than you know you should and doing things the wrong way, it's not the right way to do things. And you will be called out one day by God. So, but I wanted to look this stuff up, and so here's the stuff on it. So key, diligence and planning, commit plans to God, who provides, and working hard and achieve success rather than rushing. So you don't rush God's plans. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, God never give you anything more than you can handle." Well, that's not what it says. It says God never gives any temptation more than you can handle, and He always provides a way out. He wants you to do it with integrity and honesty. God demands fair business practices and prohibiting dishonest weights and measures, and that's in Proverbs 11 and Leviticus 19. We're going to go over these, by the way, a little further on. Righteousness is valued over ill-gotten gain. If you get it ill-gotten, it'll rot away, and it will always end in the wrong. So purposeful work. Work should be done wholeheartedly as a service to God. That's Colossians 3. Using the skills He provides to generate wealth. That's Deuteronomy 8 and Ecclesiastes 9 and 10. So these are the scriptures on this. But yes, businesses need to be done the right way. They need to not lie and cheat and do things the wrong way. And sadly, there are many businesses that have corrupt dealings and have skirted the law and done really horrible things. And you will be found out. And one day, God will have you be accountable for all your actions and all your dealings. If you have wrongfully taken more than you should, and you know it, well, that's against what God says. So, one day you're going to meet God, and you might be like, well, I'm never going to meet God because He doesn't exist. Okay, then who made the world? Who made the devil? And if you think the devil is going to win, the devil is lying to you outright. The devil is not going to win. If you look at the back end of the Bible, it says that the devil and the beast and the false prophet are all put in chains and bound for all of eternity. Proverbs 11:1. A false balance is an abomination to Yah, but a just weight is His delight. So abomination is something that is absolutely, it's detestable to God, and He finds it very offensive. And sadly, there are certain groups that are doing this. There's one that begins with the letter W, that we all know, that a lot of people have no other choice but to go, that have been found cheating on their weights. They've been finding that they are overcharging for products. The amount per unit price is not matching up with what they're telling you. And these people, and it's gotten even worse. I mean, these people, and I can see through it now, but I mean, these people are on purpose. They do not want us to have clean food. So they pollute the hell out of it. In all the other countries, they are given food without all this toxic crap, and you can look this up. We are given chemically laden poison. There's stuff in our food, and you can look all the ingredients up. And now they're trying to skirt that too. They're like, oh, well, we don't have to report everything. We are in a prison of indoctrination by schools, and in a place where we are being lied to. And sadly, most people are not woken up. Most people are being led like sheep to the slaughter. and no one is seeing what's going on. I do because I have eyes to see. They are shutting down all the food processing centers. They're destroying all the lakes and all the fish. There are lots of lakes out here in Colorado that are going up in flames. There's one on the Front Range that lost like 30,000 fish. Most of the reservoirs here in Colorado, I can't say most. There's a lot of important reservoirs where there's a lot of fish in them, like the Antero Reservoir that they drained, which had millions of fish, and they drained it due to moving it to another place. It's all because, I can't say it. We all know certain things that are being used to gobble up all the electricity and all the water, and I'm not going to mention what their names are, but you should know what I'm talking about. But these they do not want us alive, and and 5G and 6G are about blockchain, so they can put you on these systems where they control every bit of you. And now I've gotten off. But yes, working should be done the right way. You shouldn't be charging the heck out of people. I mean, that's why houses and mechanics now, it's like, that's why you see falling apart cars, because no one can afford the labor on them. Same with housing. I mean, no one can afford, it's $100 an hour. It's like, no. And it may not be that much, and you may be saying, I'm a maintenance person, I don't charge that much. But I'm just saying that we should be helping one another. Instead, we're taking advantage of everyone around. And it's like, yes, I understand. It's like, okay, well, there's, all these other people are taking advantage of me, so why shouldn't I take advantage of everyone else? That's because if you're a Christian, God calls you out and calls you to be better. So, yeah. And also, if you're holding back wages, and I think I even went over this, it says that wages are calling out from the grave against you. And basically, if you're cheating people and you're having hundreds of thousands, if not millions or billions of dollars, while your people are not even like making minimum amount of money, and you're like, I give them minimum wage. It's like, okay, well, is that a livable wage? According to most research now, a livable wage in the U.S. is, most states are now like 80 to 100,000, and like, okay, so who is making 80 to 100,000? Most people don't make that much money. I'm looking for a job. In most places, it's like, you need 2 and 3 jobs then. Okay, well, there's not enough hours in the day. If you have 8 hours and you're going to work, and then you have like a 30-minute to an hour commute, you don't have much left. And I'm not going to work 24/7 and killing myself for work when you're taking advantage of my labor. So, Colossians 3:23, work heartily as for y'all and not for men. And this is what I also see. I also see many people on the clock. I see 5 people standing around while one person's working. I see it I'm not going to mention where I work. But actually, I can say this. Every job I've ever worked, I've usually been the hardest working. And I'm always watching other people taking breaks all the time and doing all kinds of whatever and talking. And and the place I'm in now, I watch people driving around in trucks claiming that they're doing the job. I'm watching people chit-chatting for hours on end and not patrolling and doing what they're supposed to do. And it's becoming normal. It's like we want to get paid, but we don't want to do the work that it involves. It's like, if you're cheating your boss, and and I'm not saying this is, there are some places that are taking major advantage. Like there's some factory and warehouse jobs that are making you run like flat out, and like if you don't run flat out, they're going to fire you, or hey, you're not working fast enough or hard enough. It's like, okay, well, I mean, this is another way of that you all are taking advantage, and this should not be the case. Leviticus 19:13, shall not oppress your neighbor or rob him, and it also mentions wages. And oppression also means running them to death. If you are a person and you are basically going after an individual because they're not loading something fast enough or whatever, and they're running or doing whatever, you're oppressing them. Proverbs 10:4, slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. And that's what I've also seen is a lot of these so-called construction zones. I see them like set up for months on end. It's like I don't see people like the way people work in America is insane. Because I mean, and I'm not saying that we're this way, but in China they built an entire hospital in like 10 to 15 days, and yet it takes us like months, if not years, to build a house or to like repair a roadway that probably should take hours, if not a day or two. Instead, it takes us months because they want more money. Yeah. Proverbs 16:3, commit your work to Yah and your plans will be established. So yes, if you're working for God, that means you are not arrogant, that you're meek, which means that you fight when you need to. But it doesn't mean you're a doormat, but it does say that you're humble and you watch your tongue and you try to do the best you can with what you're given. And yes, when you're working, everyone else around you may be doing the wrong thing, but most of the people out there right now are not doing the things that God wants them to do. Most people out there are not going to heaven, sadly. They will have a chance to correct themselves in the tribulation and other places, but Howard Pittman, when he asked God what percentage of the population, and that was in the late 1970s, early 80s, I think, and God said like 2 or 3% of the population, and now it's when it's gotten majorly worse, like we're light years beyond that. And I asked God, and I think it was like, and he said, I think it was 98% will not make it. If the plug were pulled right now, because there's too many people that are doing the wrong thing, and so and there's so many distractions, and people don't know what's real and what's not. And I myself struggle with what's real and what's not. It's like you have to research stuff heavily in order to figure out what's wrong and what's right. And I've heard people lying. It's like, oh well, you shouldn't drink water. Oh, you shouldn't like ridiculous things. And we know that we live in a time of AI and all this other garbage. Psalms 112:5, deal generously and lend, and who conducts his affairs with justice. So this person, so you have to do the right thing and the just thing, and if you're not doing the just thing, then it's against what God says. Ecclesiastes 9:10, which was mentioned earlier. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with your might, for there is no work or thought or knowledge or wisdom in Sheol, into which you are going. So in Sheol, that's hell. We're supposed to work heartily, and actually God says that he has works for us to do. That means helping your neighbor, that means giving them a hand, that means providing shelter, that means going to prisons and going to hospitals and being missionaries and doing all this stuff. And it's like we don't tithe the right way, we don't do missionary work, we've gotten extremely greedy, and we are not willing to stand up. I'm guilty of it as well. I try to do what I can, but it's hard for me. So yes, I do understand. Proverbs 21:5, the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who's hasty comes only to poverty. So basically, yes, if you're diligent, it will lead to abundance and safety. That's if we're not completely taken advantage of by our modern world, which we are. We live in a time where where we're not allowed to be diligent. We're oppressed on every side. We are taxed to death. It's like tax on tax on tax on tax on tax, and then soon there's going to be a tax on the air. Our water is all disappearing, so they can sell it back to us at gargantuan amounts of money. They're trying to control us all, and they said, "Hey, you won't have anything, and you'll just be playing on your games, and you'll be locked in your own little prison cell." That's not right. And these people will be dealt with. These are the wicked, cruel people. And Wyatt, I would say that this is Satan's little season, and he will be dealt with in due time. God will upend him. Doesn't it say that he's only allowed to leave for like an hour when he sets his 10 kings? So yeah, the devil may lead you to believe that if you look at that he's going to win, but if you look at seal 6, it says that kings, princes, and everyone else goes and hides in the rubble. And yes, they are making bunkers and all that type of thing, but I believe that these bunkers and everything else will be destroyed when these earthquakes hit, because these earthquakes are vastly beyond anything that they can ever imagine. And will they be left? I don't know. Will parts of them be left? Maybe. So even if they do get to their bunker, they may be trapped under there for all time. So yeah. It's like if you're one person and you go in, oh no, I'm not going to go there. Proverbs, Luke 16:10, one who is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. And also, if you're ripping people off and taking advantage of them, and then you're claiming to be a Christian, it's like, do you really think God's going to allow that into heaven? Is that the type of person that you want to be when you get to heaven? Do you want to be a crook and a liar and a cheater and a person that uses unjust balance? And the thing is that I wouldn't even allow that well, I know God won't allow that in. He doesn't. Any type of wrongdoing, God does not allow into heaven. He will correct you, and it's like if you don't do the right thing, He will send you the opposite way. So yeah, it's you have to be faithful, and with this faithful and little, is like if you're given money and you're faithful with it and giving God the tithe and doing the right thing with it, then he gives you more. However, if you're unfaithful and doing the wrong thing and doing it for selfish gain and doing it for your own interest, well, God's not going to give you a whole lot, and in this world or in the next, if you make it. Jeremiah 22:13, woe to him who builds his house by unrighteousness, and his upper rooms by injustice, who makes his neighbor serve him for nothing and doesn't give him his wages. So this was Jeremiah, and he was talking to a certain population that starts with J, that lived in the major J city that lies in where, and this was a warning to them and said, hey, you need to turn away from your evilness. You need to not run over your neighbor. You need to not enslave them and basically pay them less than nothing. This is not right. And yet now, no, I'm not going to go there. But yeah, what's happening now is far beyond what's happening. I'm just gonna hold my tongue. James 5:4, wages of laborers who mowed your fields, which you kept back by fraud, are crying out against you. So this is what I said earlier. and the cries of the harvesters have reached Yah. So when they reach the ears of him, he comes and does what he does. He will make your crops go bye-bye. He will have famine and pestilence and plagues come on the land because of this unjust crap. And that's what it says if you look at Matthew 24 and Luke 21 and Mark, what is it, 13? It says that tribulation will have famines, plagues, and pestilences. It says that rivers and oceans will dry up. It says that stuff will turn to blood. It says after the 144,000 are sealed up, I mean, all the plants will be gone. It says the raging and tossing of the sea, which God has shown me. It's great tsunamis will hit the lands. I do know that tsunamis will hit both east and west coast of the U.S. I have been shown that massive earthquakes where everything falls hundreds of feet and cracks open up beneath your feet happen. I mean, you're talking about earthquakes that it's way beyond any scale that we've ever come into contact with. Just like in the days of Noah, these are unprecedented. These are things that have never been seen. And things are going to go dark, and it's not going to go well. God has heard all the cries, and the wrath is coming to a boiling point right now, and it's about to be unleashed on this land. And you may think that you're in control. You may think, oh, our plan's going according to what we wanted. Well, I got news for you. It's about to be upended in a major way. You may think that you have the plans, but God is a God who is going to absolutely destroy this land. The last 7 years are going to be hell on earth. The demons are going to be released here on the world, as well as Nephilim. If you live through what's coming, which there are, I don't know what the numbers are, but it's not going to be fun. You're going to be in a desolate wasteland where very little, if anything, survives. So, especially Babylon. Babylon's going to be taken down completely and not allowed to ever come back. Proverbs 22:16. Whoever oppresses the poor to... I've already said that. Romans 12:2 is discern the will of Yah, which is exactly what you should be doing. If you're think that you're leading the right life, I would ask God for discernment. You may think that, hey, I'm good with God. Oh, I go to church every Sunday. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing the right thing. You can go to church and still be evil. I did for 40 years. I was two-faced, and I led a double life for many, many years. I went to church every Sunday, and I went to Bible studies and all this. And as soon as I left, I did things in my own apartment that I was not proud of. And so, you may look like, oh, well, I've got it all together, and then behind the scenes, you're covering up your faults and your wickedness. God knows everything that you do. He knows the mistresses that you have. He knows the affairs that you're having. He knows the money that you're not giving fair wages to. He knows those things online. He knows how your money is being spent. He knows the drugs that you do. It's God knows all, and you're going to be shocked with what He shows you, and you're going to be like, well, I didn't know that you would know that. This is a warning. You need to get right with God. If you think you can hide anything from Him, or if you're self-made or whatever, you're not. You're nothing without God. And the only thing that gets into heaven is your soul and the souls that you save, or the other people save. That includes the animals. Psalm 15, 1-5. No slander. Does no evil to neighbor. This is what we should do. Or take up reproach against a friend. No bribing. No interest is also what it says. It doesn't say a particular culture. I mean, yes, this was like David, and these are the Psalms, which came from the Middle East. But yeah, it's you're not to take usury. God specifically calls it out. So Leviticus 19:10, not strip a vineyard. So this is what you're not supposed to do if you have a farm or anything else. It says to not strip your vineyard bare. Don't gather the fallen grapes of your vineyard. They shall be left for the poor and the sojourner. The sojourner is basically the stranger that walks through your land. Yeah, they're treated a lot better than, well, no, I'm not going to go there, than what people think. Slaves were treated very well back then. I mean, especially with regards to the Hebrew slaves, they wanted to stay with their masters because they were treated so well. It's like they were given the proper clothing and the proper food and housing and all that. And yeah, the modern day version of what a slave is light years beyond what should be. So Luke 19:13, calling 10:0. Oh, he's this is where he divvied out money, and to engage in business till I come. So there's also the talents that are given out in a certain parable, where he gave 5 talents and 3 talents and 1 talent, and told them what to do. That's basically God gives us abilities and talents to do different things, and He wants us to, in interest, He wants us to use it the proper way. Colossians 4:1, treat bondservants justly and fairly. Leviticus 19:1, to not deal falsely and no lying. Malachi 3:5, don't oppress by wage theft. Notice that that's a running theme, no wage theft. It's in multiple verses. Proverbs 19:17, deal generously to the poor, which is actually, if there's any oppressed group, it would be the poor. They're run over. Hey, we're going to take your house and make you go on the street. Hey, we're going to charge you excessive amounts of interest and keep you down. Oh, we're going to throw you in jail just for being homeless. It's ridiculous. Leviticus 19:30, and yet Christians don't do a damn thing. Like, oh, you should get a job. Hey, you should get 5 jobs, 10 jobs. Hey, you shouldn't be on the street. Sorry, but yeah, I'm making fun of it because it's ridiculous. We as Christians or believers in Him should be stepping up and helping every way we can. Instead, we're living in our own house, buying all kinds of stupid toys all the time, like UTV, ATV, snowmobile, boats, gadgets, and gizmos. It's just ridiculous. I don't know what a gadget is. I don't know. Threw it in there. Leviticus 19:35, no wrong judgment in measures of length, weight, or quantity. It also says, Deuteronomy 25, 13 to 15, there's 2 kinds of weights, a full and a fair weight you shall have. So, in other words, not to use weights that are false and wrong. So that is about work. And a lot of this world is being misled and doing the wrong thing. And yeah, it's pretty ridiculous when one person has 1 trillion when the rest of the population can barely afford anything. But yes, you need to get right with God, and that was on business and work and wages and that type of thing. So thank you for joining me. Bye for now.